Meta is a prefix that comes from the Greek language and means after, behind, or beyond. So the term metagame refers to everything that is beyond the game, really all these strategies or methods that transcend the game itself. Now, the term has been bastardized a bit where now people just use the term the meta to talk about what is trendy or what is the optimal strategy or seen as the optimal strategy, the optimal way of playing at the time. So with such a theme, who better to join us today for the very first episode of Meta as Fuck than Zebbosai from Team Misfits? Recent winner of DreamHack Winter last weekend, of course, in what I would say a very interesting fashion, to say the least. So before we get to the meat of the matter, I think it's important for us to know, Zebbosai, kind of like what was your role in strategy and making those decisions as to like what to play, what heroes to play, kind of like what your involvement in that was, basically.
Well, we experimented quite a bit. Like most of us, or we still think that triple tank is the strongest one. But for us to succeed, we had to play like a dive comp, and I think Soon in the team was like, or he wanted to do that the most. But then, as far as my pick, I played quite a bit of Widow and Pharah. Like my pick was pretty much up to me, but the Tracer, Genji, Monkey, I'd say was mostly Soon deciding. Like it's an old comp we ran before, so.
All right, all right. We'll get to like the specifics of the picks, but that. So it was mostly Soon kind of like wanting to play that, and then the whole team saying, "Okay, let's go for it," pretty much.
Yeah, like we all realized, I think we all realized that tank comp is stronger, but we just couldn't play it to a good enough level. So this was our best way of winning, and then like Soon pushed for that the most, while the rest of us maybe wanted to try a bit more with triple tank.
Okay. So then coming into this tournament, what would have been like your general kind of like preconceptions of what the meta was? Like if you had to define it in like a few sentences, what would you have said?
Well, going into the tournament, we knew everyone was going to run triple tank, especially because of the way they nerfed ultimates just makes tank heroes with a lot of health stronger. They can obviously live for longer, and then the healing from Ana just makes it like before we kind of rotated with like a Reaper Mayor, etc. to kill tank comp, but when you don't get these ultis anymore, you kind of have to run tank comp as well to beat it. So I think like everyone was pretty much forced to play tank comp, and everyone did except us.
Right, right. And then also you had like buffs to Soldier and buffs to Diva, and because Soldier's stronger, then Diva becomes stronger, and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And also then like okay, like my thought process of it is like because you have less ults often, you can't go for these combos as much as often. So right, so picks become much more important. So like then like Roadhog also got buffed because of that, not just because of tanks, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like the way we beat tank comp before was with comboing ults. Like we do the Nano Reaper, and then the next fight we do the Mei ult, and then we could beat tanks because we could alternate those ults pretty much every other fight. But once the ults got nerfed, like as you say, picks are so much important, and the steadiest and most reliable way of doing that is probably running the triple tank with a Roadhog.
Right. Right. So one of the teams that was kind of known for running this triple tank coming in, of course, was NIP Ninjas Pajamas. Pretty much known for that, right? The kind of subtlety there, however, is that they pretty much didn't run Diva at all the entire tournament. Like Mafu swapped to it a tiny bit to like run back to checkpoints in overtime or that kind of thing. But besides that, he was all the time on Zarya, which is like kind of a departure from like what we've seen in Apex from like Envious and Kongju, and even like the tier 2 teams that were at DreamHack. Like, what are your thoughts on this kind of like Zarya versus Diva thing?
I think the way they think about the game is just they want to play with they're comfortable with, and in a way, like Zarya counters Diva, and since everyone runs Diva, like the Zarya sort of makes sense. But then, like they also didn't run very much Soldier, like they ran Hanzo and Mei instead of that. Like when looking at the games when they played Fnatic, for example, they faced double hit scan, but still they refused to go Diva. And when you face double hit scan, you kind of have to go a Diva when you're running a triple comp or triple tank comp. So I think they're just like we're too stubborn with what they're comfortable with. But moving forward, I definitely expect them to swap, and that's sort of what I got from Sapis too when I talked to him.
Okay. Like from what I've seen from the scrims that I spectate, it's just like tier 2, tier 3 scrims, but like you kind of had this thing going on where the Roadhog and the soldier would like pressure the enemy Reinhardt shield, and then the diva was kind of like trying to help out with that shield with her defense matrix. And then as soon as like one team had like a disadvantage in terms of shield, they were like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna lose this shield war. So like we have to engage right now, or we're gonna get picked by the Roadhog once the shield breaks." Right? So like instantly when you don't have the Zarya anymore, or when you don't have the diva, it's like you have the bubble to protect your Reinhardt. So like if he charges and you get countercharged, so that's good. But then like you don't have defense matrix to one protect the shield initially from the soldier, and then to like rush the soldier with ults.
Yeah, like if you don't run a diva, you'll always lose the spam war. Like both diva and Zarya can deny roller hooks. Like they both work similar in that way. But with the diva, like once the round shield gets low, like you can just pick up the matrix and he can still be aggressive and be covered, or just fall back, recharge the shield. But when you play a Zarya, you're basically forced to take the fight when your shield dies, unless you're like in a very passive position. But that's very rarely gonna happen.
Yeah, or it puts like the burden on you to engage first and be just more aggressive with.
Yeah, and Nip definitely plays aggressive, so I see why they rather go with the Zarya, but moving on, I think they'll swap it around a lot more.
Okay, then let's get to kind of like what you guys were doing, because obviously during a lot of the tournament you ran a single tank 2 support composition, so 3 DPSs. So let's get back into like that a bit.
Yeah, like again, you have to use the Genji Tracer Monkey, but we still ran like Genji Tracer with a Reinhardt from time to time. But especially when we attack, we have to like dive and get a kill right away. Like I saw some people mention that they think I should have played like a diva or something, just so I can be with them when we dive. But the way I see it, like you have to get a kill so fast, and both Pharah and Widow can basically do like 120 damage or whatever a rocket does, like in one shot, and that makes it so that Nevix, the Genji, can always just shift through, and that's an insta kill always. While with diva, you can run a diva with the dive comp, but then you'd have to always deny the Ana. You are not gonna do damage. Like you're just there to deny the Ana. So we felt more comfortable with the Widow. Like if I just hit a headshot on a tank or make a Lucio half HP, they can all insta dive him and it's a kill. And often it forces the Ana grenade too, because say I hit the Ana, she'd always nade herself. Once she doesn't have the nade, it's so easy for us to dive them. It's just the nades that stops us really from diving.
Right. Right. So lots of Widow, but then you also played a bit of like more standard 2-2 every now and then, going back to Zarya, and a tiny bit of.
Yeah, I think I ran diva once because Fnatic tried to counter what we did with the double hit scan comp, and then I feel like you're forced to play a diva. Like it denies that it's so powerful was the double hit scan.
So like the whole idea was basically to just kind of be aggressive as soon as you got like the opportunity because of like the Pharah or the Widow, right? That pretty much.
Yeah, like we still ran quite a bit of Reinhardt because once you get to like a lost point, you have to win a fight more convincingly because their spawn is so close. So you can't, like if we play the Monkey Tracer Genji, most fights will lose at least one or two of them, and when their spawns are so close, we have to have more of a reliable push, and also the Reinhardt ult has like a bigger impact, or potentially has a bigger impact than a Monkey ult, because Reinhardt ult can basically win your fights, and that's kind of the way we went with it.
Right. So like a lot of teams have kind of like abandoned the Tracer Genji thing, like because of the Roadhogs everywhere. That can kind of like control your flankers a bit, and also like for Tracer, if the soldier just hits his helix and then melees you, like you're insta dead. So like, was it just that much faith in Nevix and Soon that you guys had?
No, like the only reason we ran it was because we knew we were shit with triple tank. Like we were losing to LDLC, Mouse, Fnatic. We lost to everyone. We couldn't win a game, so we had to run this because when we played online, we got some maps here and there, but we lost most of them too when we were playing the triple DPS. Like it's not a comp I actually think is good. I think it gets countered by triple tank, so I don't recommend people to run it. And to be honest, I don't truly understand how we were able to win with it. But it's just individually, like Soon is nuts on Tracer,
Yeah.
and then he then steps up call-wise so much on LAN, and when he's on the Zenyatta, like he's screaming his Discord, and it helped so much with the focus fire, because when we played it online, we didn't really have the focus fire to pull it off, but on LAN we were able to, because Hidan just stepped up so much communication wise.
Okay, so if we're talking in terms of like kind of timeline, I guess, like when you were saying we were trying out this triple tank, like how long ago before the tournament was that, and how long did you realize, oh, like this is not gonna work, we need to go back to like other stuff?
Well, we went back and forth, because like we only really practiced for like a week before DreamHack, because we were at BlizzCon, 3 of us, and then we got Cooler in, obviously. So like every day we'd swap between the comps. Like we'd play tank comp, we lose. Okay, we go dive comp, we lose. Okay, we go back to tank comp. That was kind of the way we did it. Like even we practiced some versus complexity and mouse on first day, and we even then like we experimented with the tank comp to see if we could pull it off. But then once we got to stage, we just committed to the dive comp, and since it worked from the beginning, we just kept going with it. But say we'd lost to Fnatic, I don't know if we'd try triple tank again. I really don't know.
Okay. Now you mentioned Hidan on Zenyatta, of course, so I want to talk a bit about supports, because you guys did not play Ana a single time, at least like unless you played it on the match that wasn't streamed. But you didn't play Ana, and like it seemed like every single team had like a different idea of what they wanted to do at like the support position.
Well, I think if you run a triple tank composition, you are basically forced to play Ana, because you need the heals. But then Fnatic still experimented some with Zenyatta the first time we played them. But the second time, I don't think they used Zen once, because they probably realized that they need Ana.
They kind of swapped. They had like this weird thing going on where like sometimes on attack they had Ana, and then on defense they had Zen, or some kind of thing like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, at least versus dive comp, you have to have a Ana, because it's so much harder to kill that target. Like the grenade with the Lucio heal is too strong. And then in general, when you're running triple tank, you need a lot of heals. Like they're gonna take a lot of damage, and you're basically forced to play the Ana. But with the dive comp, obviously Zenyatta works a lot better. Like Ana isn't bad either, because we can like nano Nevix once they get sword, and that should be a one fight, since they are not running as Zenyatta, they can't deny it. But Zen is just more reliable, and we felt that Hidan is like stronger on Zenyatta than Ana. And we tried to put people as much as we could on their strongest hero, since we couldn't really play the meta. We just tried to play what we were best at, and that's the way it ended up.
Right. All right, then what do you think about like what LDLC did on defense, where they removed the Lucio on defense to play like more static Zen plus Ana? So obviously you don't have the speed boost there, but you do have like both the healing of the Ana and then the damage of.
I haven't like when we play them, I don't think they did this, and I haven't watched the game, but like we've experimented with this too, because at least versus a tank comp, like the Discord is so strong, but you also need Ana, and it doesn't matter too much if you're slow, because you're not gonna disengage very often, at least on defense. Like first points when we practiced, like we most of the time we actually run the Zenyatta Ana, because you don't really need the speed boost, but once you get to second point, I really think you need the speed though to be able to chase and get picks and steamroll with that. But first point you can definitely skip the Lucio, but I still think Lucio is always the more reliable option.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they did. Like on Dorado, they were playing like towards the back of the fountain, and then on Hollywood, kind of like towards the cafe, really at the back. All right, so next topic. This is a pretty big one. Sombra. So of course, complexity played her quite a bit with Torque being on her. I think he did really well. It was really what they showed. Like, of course, you guys played her a bit in the Alienware monthly melee. I remember. I don't remember like every map you played it on, but I recall the Lijiang map that you were trying to control health packs with that. But it seemed like you were more kind of trying to deny health from the enemy, whereas here Torque was like really trying to do the thing where you hack it, try to get the ult as fast as possible by taking poke and then going to health pack.
When we tried to run it, we ran it with a dive comp, so we felt like Sombra can also get in there and do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And versus Zenyatta, like even Sombra with her bullets can hit that target. So, but then like I never even thought of running it the way Complexity did. Like it very clever the way you like get the ult so fast by just stepping on the medkit. when we faced them, like we banned Hollywood and Icon, or no, King's Row and Icon, because the kits are so close to the choke, and we knew they were gonna try to do this. And like it's super strong and very hard to deny. Like I don't know, it's the same scenario we had with Ana for a while, where people don't want to spam because she gets ult so fast, and now Sombra is another character that is like that.
But if you like you choose not to spam, then they can just like walk through the choke point, and then it's like an entire other problem there.
Exactly, you're always gonna end up in this like awkward situation where like spamming hurts you and not spamming also like hurts you. But it's definitely a clever thing, and I think it can work a lot better. But I don't know, Nip. The thing is like Sombra is good versus Zarya, as Nip, because Nip only ran Zarya. But I feel like versus Nip, they should just run Soldier all the time, since they don't have the D.Va. The Soldier can be so impactful. So like I think it's a good pick. Say versus Fnatic, I think it'd be an even stronger pick, because they always run D.Va, and then like you don't, the Soldier isn't as effective. But especially versus NIP, I felt they should have gone with the Soldier instead of the Sombra. But I really like the way they pull it off. Like it's very clever.
Did you get to see the clip from the Apex Challenger team in Korea that did this on Hanamura, where they just completely swapped off like the Ana? They just had Lucio and then Sombra to do the trick, because then you could pick the Soldier.
Fortunately not. Yeah, that's true. Like I guess that could have worked too. But then, like once we faced Complexity 2 and they had Sombra, like first push Anubis, we weren't ready for it, so they hit the EMP on all of us. But then on the second point, they kept going with the Sombra, but we knew what they were gonna do, so we just spread out, and it wasn't as effective at all. Like I think that was the case with NIP too. The more they replayed, the better it went for NIP.
Yeah.
And from what I heard when they played the Hollywood off stream, NIP pretty much crushed them, and the Sombra wasn't effective whatsoever because they knew how to play against it.
So talking about EMP, I made an entire video about Sombra, of course, and saying like that I think EMP doesn't really have a counter, because like there's no ability in the game that kind of stops it. The big counterpoint to that is Flame. I think in his VOD reviews, he said many times like, oh, then positioning is the counter to that. So like you seem to kind of agree there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like there isn't an ult you can stop it with, obviously. Like the Soria bubbles denies it, from my understanding.
Not EMP. The right click.
Are you sure?
But not EMP.
Okay. Well, I don't know. From
my testing, at least, maybe they.
Oh, you've tested it. Okay, I haven't tested it, but a few times in the game I popped Zarya bubble, and I don't know. I didn't get the EMP, but I might have just been lucky too. But positioning is definitely the key to counter it. Like once we knew they were running it, we always spread like we were lost point Anubis, so we had one support left side and one support right side, and like Soon with one of them and Nevix on the other side, like, and that means skip in the middle. So basically they could always EMP two of us. That was like our thought process. They're always gonna EMP someone. We can't stop that. We just need to like, it's as playing versus a Graviton. When you they have Graviton, you just gotta make sure that like the tanks get caught in it, and we try to get EMP'd, me and Skip, instead of our supports. But it's obviously a lot easier to choose who we goes for with Sombra.
My counterpoint to that would be that like the argument that positioning counters EMP is not too valid for me, because like positioning should counter pretty much everything, because like positioning is king. So to me that doesn't really work. And like
the thing is, so since we take this, like since Hedan and Soon like takes a more passive position, they won't be able to spam like spamming shields, getting picks that way. So we obviously we lose something by taking this position, but it does counter the EMP while it hurts us in other way. At least that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. I guess like another problem or another way to see this is like if you group up, you're kind of screwed against EMP, but then if you spread out, you're a bit like more dangerously positioned for like hooks and just getting picks.
Yeah, a few times even like Torque was able to kill Hedan because it was all spread from us, and he's like a Zenyatta alone, so he could take advantage of that in like just killing him.
So like overall, like what do you think? Is like everyone gonna pick her up because of what Complexity did?
I think people will experiment more with this in general, but like the EMP is super powerful, but then the rest of her kit isn't very good. But like as long as you set up the ult good, because you basically have a free stun or a free D.Va ult or whatever, like you should be able to get something out of it if you run it good. But then is it worth it, since her kit in general is just bad? From my perspective, I'm not sure I'd like experiment with it in triple tank comps, but I can see other teams doing it.
Right. Obviously, like the problem is if Blizzard sees like her play rate and win rate and sees like, oh, she needs to get buffed, and then she gets buffed on those weaknesses, then we could like have a problem.
Then we have a big problem, sure. Unless they could slow down the EMP, make her kit a bit better. Say you charge the EMP slower.
Yeah. I think the big problem with that health pack thing is just like it's incredibly like formulaic, where you just can repeat it very easily and just get it super fast.
Yeah, especially as it respawns so fast when it's hacked.
Yeah. All right. So then moving forwards. Yeah, let's talk about just like general heroes that you picked up, that you played during the tournament that no one really did. So first, Pharah, you played her on Hollywood twice on attack, if I recall. Now with so much soldier, like the very easy concept is hit scan. You know, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, but like I ran it with a dive comp, so like we are gonna have a Monkey Genji Tracer pressuring that soldier. Soldier is most like soldier Ana is what we're gonna focus first, since they have 200 HP. So the soldier itself isn't a big problem versus the Pharah. At least like not. I only ran it on first points, I believe. I tried a little bit on second if I had ult, but on second when it's so open, I just can't. On the first point on Hollywood, I can just go through the choke and then get on the soldier like a second. So he doesn't really have time to kill me, but on the bigger like Hollywood second, like I couldn't run it because then he obviously has seized me from such a range. But like as I said before, like our thought process, or I was like we just wanted to be able to insta-give someone, and we felt Pharah and Widow was the best characters to do that. So like if we played King's Row, I'd also run Pharah there. So like certain maps we do the Pharah, but most of them we did the Widow.
So really, with this idea of getting like some chip damage in, and then just committing with the flankers.
It's not like even chip damage. Like we'd commit 100% to the fight. Like I wouldn't really spam with the Pharah. I'd just dive in. But as long as I hit one direct, like on the soldier, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And like when we do it the first push, the D.Va isn't really ready for it either. So D.Va doesn't just eat all my damage. But sometimes when we fail the first push, the D.Va and the team will just position themselves better and eat like pretty much all the rockets.
Yeah. Obviously, you also need to be like aware of where D.Va is if you want to land a barrage, because she can negate it if she's well positioned.
Yeah, I had like a barrage on second Hollywood where I was just top and I just dived in. I was able to get one before she turned around and denied it. But like you have to just surprise them. I can't be floating in the air and she can't see me before I go.
Okay, another kind of odd pick that we didn't get to see for like quite a long time was the Junkrat that you guys pulled off. So like with some D.Va coming in, like people think of Junkrat as being countered by D.Va because like his spam just gets negated. So like kind of like what was the thought process there?
Well, I don't know. When we started playing the dive comp, played it on both attack and defense, but it wasn't like you can stall a lot on defense and get a good time, but you can't really win fights. So then like I don't know, we just refused to play triple tank because we were so bad with it. We just try to get heroes that can like do pretty much the same thing. Like a Roadhog will spam the shield, get picks for you, and Junkrat works in a similar way. And then, but like as you say, the D.Va does deny it. So I'm not sure if it's like the greatest of picks, but most of the time the Junkrat will still get quite a bit of damage in when they're pushing through a choke.
Yeah. Like the second I saw this, I was like kind of weirded out. But then I realized the D.Va can only defense matrix for so long, whereas Junkrat can just like continue to spam.
Yeah, that too. And then we ran a Tracer with it, and then soon it's gonna be behind them, distracting them.
All right.
So the Junkrat gets spaced that way.
Okay, it's kind of cool. You guys also played a tiny bit of Reaper. So you played a bit, and then Sood played a bit. I think it was on Nepal mostly. Was that like specifically to counter some like quad tank stuff that we saw, or like?
Yeah, on the King of the Hill especially, like they just try to counter our comp, and then we can't really beat a quad tank without a Reaper. Like we're forced around the Reaper. So when they went to quad tank, we went May Reaper, like standard. But then if they went, most of the time, then Kunmat swapped away from the Monkey and went Soldier, and then soon go back to Tracer, because we can beat triple tank with May Tracer, we just can't beat quad tank with it. Then we kind of need the damage from the Reaper. It was just really to counter the quad tank.
Yeah, yeah. So despite like the nano boost getting nerfed and not relying on the combo, it's just like the raw damage up close from the Reaper.
Yeah, exactly. Like we didn't even run an Ana with the Reaper, just a Discord and him being able to shoot on them. And then sure, like the D.Va can again deny the damage, but she can't always be there and denying. And we need damage output from the Reaper to be able to kill the quad tanks. We just didn't have enough. Like first stage, we tried. I don't know, like Zoom was close to bomb, and I had just used my Graviton, so I swapped to Reaper then because we needed a Reaper like badly. And then it worked for like 1 or 2 fights, but you kind of want the Zarya as well to deny the hooks. And like obviously the Zarya can put a lot of pressure on the D.Va, so the Reaper then gets more space to be able to kill the tank.
When it comes to quad tanks and like we talked about Zarya and D.Va, and if like you can pick both and not play a DPS, like what's the trade-off there between like having triple tank and the soldier and then just straight up quad tank?
I don't know, it isn't, you don't have enough damage. I feel like if you play a quad tank, even if it's a Zarya can do a lot of damage obviously when she's charged, but then it's only really the Road Dogg that has reliable damage, because you can't account for the Zarya getting charged, and it's kinda Zarya is a lot easier to kill tank wise than the Road Dogg and D.Va, I feel. I don't know. We haven't really experimented with running both D.Va and Zarya.
Was that something that you saw in scrims though, the quad tank?
I saw the quad tank, but I didn't see it with Zarya and D.Va. It was always like Monkey, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen it actually run with Zarya. Or I know NIP has done it, but then they don't have a D.Va. They do like Zarya Monkey.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the combination.
Okay. So back to NIP then, I guess, because well, you talked in an interview, I think it was with the Sideshow, about preparing for them and all that kind of thing. And after beating Fnatic in the group winners match, you literally said, "Oh yeah, we're saving our triple tank strat for NIP," but you didn't get to play them. So like, can you tell us a bit more about that?
That was just me talking bullshit, really. Like we didn't have anything set up for NIP. We were always gonna play dive comps with them.
Right.
But the funny thing is, like Kynal from NIP went up to me at the after party, like, "Oh, so what was your plan?" Like, like they probably didn't believe me, but there was at least some sort of doubt in their minds, I guess.
Right. Then I kind of have to ask the question, like, if you do meet up in the finals, like, how does that play out, you think?
Well, like before the tournament, I'd say we lose 100% of the time, but as we were watching the games from NIP, since they didn't run a D.Va, we actually felt that perhaps our comp would be even more effective versus them. Because like the Widow gets a lot more space all of a sudden, and she doesn't get denied ever, and same with Hedan. Because the D.Va didn't go for the Widow that much, because she also has to deny the Zenyatta. So she always had to pick, but I think if we played NIP, they'd be forced to swap their comp. I don't think they can run at least not on land, they couldn't have run their normal comp versus our dive comp. And if we forced them to switch, like that was the same thought process versus Fnatic. If we forced people to switch comp, we always felt we were gonna win that. Like a few times, and you saw a Fnatic swap to McCree Soldier or something, and then like we had a Reaper Mei, and they picked Soldier McCree, which people argue that like McCree is the counter to the dive comp, and he is in some sort of way, I guess. But we picked dive comp into that because we are so comfortable with 200 HP characters playing the dive comp. Like we can insta kill them. So like I don't know. I'd like to play NIP just to see how it worked out. But online we didn't have a chance against them. But we didn't versus Fnatic either. We lost like 5 straight maps. We practiced against them online. So I don't really know how it would have ended up. But I think it could have like run even better against them since they don't play the D.Va ever.
Because like basically NIP in like just next week they're gonna be at MSI MGA in London, and you guys are not gonna be there. So I thought like maybe you could like share strats with like whoever's gonna be. I guess it's like poker face.
Yeah, it was just me talking bullshit.
Okay. So then let's go for like I guess kind of like a final conclusion on what your thoughts are on the meta right now.
My thoughts on the meta is that your triple tank is by far the strongest comp, and you are forced to play it. You should never be able to win with a dive comp. It should not work. Triple tank counters it. Like, that's my opinion. Like, we saw Rogue also experiment with a dive comp, but they didn't go as hard as we did. Like, they didn't fully commit. They still played Reinhardt and Zarya. But I think, like, reliably, you're not gonna win with a comp like that. You have to run triple tank in the meta we're in right now.
Okay, I don't know if you've been following Apex, but of course on Friday there's going to be Envious versus Freaka Freaks Blue,
Yeah.
and AF Blue have been trying a bit of divey stuff with like the Pharah Genji thing. So you think if Envious just continues to run standard, they're going to be able to win that?
Yeah, for sure. Like their triple tank looked good when they played Rogue, and they also like adapted their comp and swapped around it quite a bit. Like both Harry and Taimo can go between Road Dogg, Soldier, McCree. They never get like stuck in certain picks. So I honestly, if Africa, or what are they called, Africa Freaks Blue, are gonna run, because I saw them run a lot of Genji. I think Envy is just gonna take it. Like, it's just so weak versus triple tank.
Have you been like kind of impressed by what Mickey's been able to do for the short time he's been there?
Oh yeah, Mickey is like really good. I know, like Internet Hulk, he like, as we got to BlizzCon, even before he started playing, like Mickey started playing, Hulk was like hyping him, saying, "Oh, he's great Zarya, great Diva." It's really nice that he was able to get the chance to play with Envy now.
All right, cool. I guess we're kind of done then. So I think first of all, I'd like to thank you for joining. This was kind of cool and pretty legit insight on what happened during the tournament. Do you have any like final words?
No, just thank you for having me. It's always fun doing this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So just to end this, I think just to end this episode, I think I kind of need to echo a tweet that Hidan made after you guys won the final that very simply said, "Fuck the meta."
He said in the car, someone needs to tweet that. We're kind of fighting who is gonna tweet it, but end up being Hida.
Okay. Thanks, man.